What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the final video in the house. I plan not to get too emotional here, but I am moving into my forever home, and this will be the last one here. And there's been so much that's happened from Billy and Jackie and tabletop and table talk, and just so much through the years to him actually now working for Konami. And the title House of Champs was literal. It was two champs living in a house. So I feel like with it moving, it really is kind of the end of the era, but a beginning of like a new ability to sit down, think through new things. Streams will be back, Market Watch will continue, and that being said, let's go ahead and get into this one with the typical drama of Scum. So we talked about the elemental hero Storm Neo spiking before, and now it's another target for Aqua Dolphin, but it also has on its materials Air Hummingbird, and with Air Hummingbird, people are using that to play for guaranteed time rules, apparently. I think they're adding more bricks, a little copium hit here and there, but if you click on every single one, it's starting to go above market price, a little bit ridiculous that people are actually considering that. There's also the controversy around Air Neos itself, right, and this is part of that fusion, but I just feel like this is a bit odd and off, and it's more of that meme into controversy into dollars on the market that's going up. Now let's talk about Maze of Memory Day 1. That's what most of y'all might be here for, and the set is doing a bit hotter than I initially sure thought it would. I thought it would flop directly, that competition would already be driving it down, and despite sales being pretty darn high on boxes, competition is making boxes cheaper as you see them continue to go in. And I think with the current card prices, it might actually be able to stabilize around 60, 62 to a box, so it might not just flop on its face for a collector rare set and continue that theme of world premiere sets being successful, and that's more so than on the reprints on the back of the import cards as a whole within the solid value in the set. Now, Baroness is the main value, which is a reprint, but we have the Excel Synchro Stardust next up, Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, and you can see everything, even reprinty, falls below that. Although Solemn Judgment, it was a decent choice, already has an ultimate rare, which long-term will be competition for this collector rare. The Blackluster Soldier is also a nice choice, and I hope it doesn't become the next meme like, you know, the Link 3 Blackluster Soldier, and it doesn't get a reprint forever, and then this spikes up. Guardian Chimera, nice to see. With us looking at Photon Hypernova, we can see that people are willing to spend primo dollars on a max rarity branded, especially since there's that structure deck, and more people have that deck out there and access to it than many other competitive ones, besides Trap Tricks recently, which we've seen a ton of hype for. Going through the rest of the set, though, it is, again, that heavy lifting from the imports to a degree. Teardrop Rika around 48. That's super interesting to me because this will cycle into competitive over time, and I feel like is getting a little underlooked early. Baroness at 40-ish. I called this between 30 to 50. I think that was a pretty easy call. Right smack dab in the middle, right near 40 for the launch weekend, and we'll see if this continues to get eaten up early in spikes. I personally would be getting it sooner than later if I needed a Baroness, because when is that next reprint? In Mavens 2 later in the year? Konami does love to do that. Reprint was so good, let's do it again, and maybe that'll happen with this one, maybe not. I also do think the collector rare Dark Fluid is interesting because so many people are trying to make decks around this even if they know they're bad, so it being towards the bottom of the collector rares, kind of odd. Spellbook of Fate just not doing anything. Excel Synchron Stardust. So pre-sales were around 30, 32, and now it's already down to 20 despite everybody quoting this to be the card to pick up from the set besides Baroness. I do feel like it is getting a little bit undervalued in terms of what it will potentially do with all the Synchro hype to come, but at the same time, this set still has a lot to develop and a lot to kind of go through the paces because you're here in opening weekend, max competition, but I do kind of feel like it is weird to see this down towards the $20 mark when so many people are chattering about it. The rest of the set is 10 and under, which tends to happen with these sets, and yeah, after you get past the front page, everything's $2, including Solemn Judgment, which I feel like is just going to age well. I know I am a huge fan favorite of Solemn Judgment in general from competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, TCG player lagging a hair today. But when it comes to this card, I do feel like Supers, a holographic Solemn Judgment, if there's not a reprint soon after in a structure deck or super easy access, this is just gonna age well towards like $5, $6 like it usually does. So I would definitely be picking them up like your play set right now if you just wanted to play. The Gate Guardian stuff, not the most coveted in the world. And it's really weird how Konami did put them all in super rare slots, but I do think the imports are more important to the set. A lot of people were mad Red Eye Soul did not get a collector rare. Going through here on Photon Hypernova, I also wanted to point out that a Rise Heart is rising up in price for the Starlight rare, while the deck itself becomes cheaper and cheaper slowly for Cast Hero because there's a ton of other options within the metagame, even if this is labeled as the deck to currently beat. And Triple Tactic Thrust is down in price, but the sealed booster boxes are up. So the Starlight top end is going up, a lot of value going down, and I feel like that's because people mostly secured what they wanted to out of the set, and whenever you have everybody rush, grab, get it, and then they're unsure, straggling behind, there's not going to be as many sales rates, even if it's the top deck, because now people are wondering if they get their invite, is there another list before the WCQ? I mean, you know, May list, late May, it could drop before the WCQ. So not everybody wants to completely dig in to committing to a WCQ deck now, even though a lot already have. You have that wishy-washy, I got my invite, I'll sell out now, let's go ahead. So competition on listings, while also you have people holding the line in the sand. There's two different takes. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Do you think we're on the WCQ list? Do you think this is it? Or will there be a little bit of an update before we head into there? Sargas also still up above that $10 mark. We'll be talking about another card along with that. And the rest of the set, kind of down in value versus when we last covered it. Gravekeeper Inscription down bad. We have Rin the Brum down just a little, not too much. A lot of the cards have just been going and getting cheaper as more of them are out there. People opening their regional packs, people opening packs at locals is the current core set. Illusion of Chaos is way up. Battle of Chaos, that would be the first set available for the Megatons if we're getting Megatons. And I think this is mostly Master Duel hype. Dark Magicians are getting super looked up in content, and a huge Master Duel push is happening, and this is how the deck plays most competitively. It does mix in a ton of other things. People are even saying Gate Guardians. You're getting a ton of ritual hype, so there's a ton of factors it could be. I personally think it's mostly from the mainstream Master Duel hype leading into physical TCG, but there are other reasons and other reasons to grab it, especially as a package. Now with Magician Souls, if you're going that way, I would think about getting Magician Souls sooner than later, although that's a prime thing that would look great in Pharaoh Rare Konami to reprint in Mavens 2. I think it would be reprinted after Illusion of Chaos gets a reprint. So if you're getting it to use now, sooner than later probably is good, because I think it'll just continue to go up for the nicer versions, and the lower versions have been pretty stable around 20 despite being short printed. Spriggans Merrymaker. Last time we covered this, it was around, you know, $4 or $5, and it did start to level off, and then it just spiked again, over double, and now it's going pretty regularly for $7 to $9. So be aware, this is re-spiked once again for that Sargas Therion package. Infernoble's got new support, and if you didn't see it, it's actually pretty good with an inventive link, one that people are hoping is the future of card design. Remember, it's not just Infernoble or Noble Knight, there are Noble Arm cards and then Heritage of the Chalice, so there's different things to go around with the deck. And Fire Flint Lady, which is a pretty good tech within the deck, is also spiking up here in price, commonly talked about as a penny stonk in the past for how good it is, especially with warrior stuff, and is now back towards $250. But yeah, Heritage of Chalice, full buyout mode for both the Prismatic and the Ultra. And going through here, Noble Knight Renowned, just way up out of the Amazing Defenders. And you do see other cards just way down in quantities, like Noble Arm Durandal is $4+, $5 market price now, versus the Super you can pick up for about a quarter, and there's 233 of them. I still would get if you want access to this deck. The lower rarity pieces, just around now, because when the deck does come out, as we head towards that, people tend to scramble late, so it's just better to get the low rarity stuff now if you just want access to playing this deck. Like the Super Renowned just came out, and you can get that for under $1. It does the same thing, I promise, but for max rarity warriors, yeah, you're going to pay a lot for this heading forward, and you're going to have to be timing it if you still want those cards. Evil Zor Create, though. The Evos got support, and this is why I kind of laugh whenever things happen. Look at this nice rank 6 Fire Dragon, any 2 level 6 monsters, and it does generically get to use its effect. Your opponent cannot target this card with materials with any monster effect, and when your opponent activates a card or effect quick effect, detach 2 materials from the card target to face-up card your opponent controls and negate the effect till the end of the turn, and if all materials attached are reptile or dinos, you can detach 1 material instead of 2. Remember this nice little rank 6 buyout Evil Zor sold? Yeah, I remember this and people getting hyped and going for it. Doesn't look as good now, although maybe you still want the option. The ultimate rare still way, way up for first edition, and instead they've supplied you with a new rank 6 in the deck. That's why I don't really like to buy cards until I see an entire support drop. I know the FOMO, that itch, I don't want to miss out, it could be free money, but yeah, they just made a new rank 6 for them. You do also see the evil tiles for certain cards starting to go way down in quantity and up in price. Same with Evo Force. Just options. You see the ridiculous spikes and crazy, crazy, stupid prices on cards like that. That's never going to change with ever knee-jerk reaction. Oh my gosh, OCG support. It just continues. Thanks for watching today's market watch and the final one in the house. I'll see you next time from the new setup next week, so it will be a bit before the next video, but seriously, I wouldn't be in the position I am without this channel, without this segment in particular, people using the link, using the discount codes that support the channel. I'm not gonna get emotional, but seriously, thank you so much, everybody.